Hey there. Today we're going off to war. The Forever War by Joe Haldeman. This book is all about a sci-fi version of the Vietnam War, essentially, from the point of view of a veteran. This was written as a direct counter to Robert Heinlein's Starship Troopers. The main character, William Mandela, is a conscript in an elite military unit. They have a lot of toys that other military science fiction stories would take for granted. Things like powered armor, energy weapons, force fields, all sorts of stuff. One of the twists, though, is because of relativity, while he's serving months on deployment, fighting in other solar systems on other sides of the galaxy, centuries are passing on Earth, and society is going in a very strange, very alien direction compared with what happened when he left. A lot of that novel was inspired by Vietnam vets coming back to a very reformed, very different society than the pre-war America they remember. Likewise, there's the influence of war propaganda, over-exaggerating and misunderstanding a very different culture, at least in the context of science fiction, as kind of a parallel to the American policymakers' ignorance or apathy towards the actual geopolitics and history of Southeast Asia at the time. That said, though, this is a very well-written novel. Robert Heinlein himself, the guy who wrote Starship Troopers, essentially a very pro-militaristic science fiction novel, congratulated Joe Haldeman on writing this. Even though it's military science fiction, very little of the book actually focuses on the combat scenes. There's a lot more on the social changes going on and how the characters kind of react to that. There's a saying, you can't go home again. The ending of this book makes that very clear, because when the characters are sent off, they come back not just distant in space, but also in time, in society, by centuries, by generations. Society is progressing without them, and they don't know what's going on. So, the ending has a couple of sad twists, but also some hopeful bits to it as well. Without spoiling too much, there is some dated or at least bizarre treatment of homosexuality in this book that may be troubling to certain readers, but overall, if you follow certain trends in the background of the story, it makes sense in that particular context. That aside, though, I highly recommend this book. As a fan of military science fiction, action, and good world building, I highly recommend enlisting in Joe Haldeman's Forever War. I hope to see you next time, here at the School of Night.